Welcome to Goat Island. I'm your host, the Big Kahuzzi, back again with weekly sports. This week, we're bringing you news in sports. Also, your boy did a health and fitness check this past Friday, and turns out I'm at less than 5% body fat, more than 50% muscle, and 100% goat, bitches. Sport news is covering Liverpool's contract extensions and other headlines in football. In rugby, the Blues stunned with dominant victory. UFC 314 saw a new champion crowned. Next, we'll go to boxing with Eddie Hearn fielding concerns over the trilogy fight instead of a new contender for Bivol. And finally, the WWE has announced the cards for both nights of WrestleMania. All of this plus more on this sports episode of Goat Island. First of all, to all the LFC haters, you guys can... The Egyptian King is going nowhere soon, with the frontman extending with the Reds through until 2027. The captain of the team, Virgil, is also expected to sign for the same extension as Salah shortly. The FIFA president has met with American officials, FBI and Attorney General, to ease security concerns for the 2026 World Cup. Shouldn't be an issue for safety as long as they're not playing in schools. Additionally, the 2026 World Cup will be the second ever time the tournament is hosted by multiple countries, and this would make for complications for those attending multiple matches, but it should be easier getting to different locations for fans as the host countries are USA, Mexico, and Canada. And we know how friendly the states are to people coming in and out of their borders. Speaking of America, we have some potential MLS news, and while this is Goat Island and we only talk about goat shit, just bear with me as we deal with the small fries for a second. Inter Miami is close to extending their contract with Messi, who has scored 42 goals in his 48 matches with an impressive 87.5% scoring rate. However, it's not 94.5%, which is the GOAT's pro stats at Al Nassr with 87 goals in 92 appearances. So, Liverpool won this weekend against West Ham United. Who would have thought? Us. That's who. And although Trent is looking to be wearing white in the future rather than red, with the young man being as loyal as a long-distance girlfriend, there is still a silver lining, and that is that since 2020, Mo Salah is amongst the top 10 scorers at Old Trafford, Man United's home grounds. Lord, it must suck to support the Red Devils. Although there's not too much happening in rugby that's relevant to Goat Island itself, our GOAT Super Rugby club, the Auckland Blues, surprised even us with their 36-17 win over Moana Pacifica. But we did kind of call this win last week, and all I can say is it's going to be awkward for Ardie when he walks back into the All Blacks locker room. As for the Warriors, unsuccessful, but still up the wires. In boxing news, some discourse has begun in light of Bivol not honoring the WBC's mandatory order of Dimitri defending his newly won title against contender Benavidez, and instead looking to compete in his trilogy against Beterbiev. Famous boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, yes, the guy from the memes, has weighed in on this topic and seems quite adamant on his position. The Brit feels as though the WBC is only pushing for this because they feel bad for Benavidez. And I get it. The WBC didn't force Canelo to fight the contender for years, even though ordinarily this would have been mandated, and now that Bivol just won, they want to rush him to David? Make it make sense. But regardless of what you think about this, the fact is that Bivol's next fight will be the trilogy. And I mean, it doesn't matter how much the WBC are offering, 8 million, cause Bivol's getting that Saudi money, habibi. There is officially a new king at featherweight in the UFC. When we saw that Drake bet on Volk, I was hoping I read wrong, but the champ proved that if your name is Alex, the Drake curse ain't got shit on you. How you going? And new. Two-time The UFC also continued its trend of press conferences way before the week of the fight, with the UFC 316 press conference released last week, when the pay-per-view is only set for June. Juliana stood on business at the presser, stating that it's great that Kayla has a gold medal, but you know what? I don't care. And that there's a difference between Olympic gold and UFC gold. And the GOAT female fighter, Amanda Nunes, has just declared that she will come out of retirement to face the winner of this fight. GOAT fighter doing GOAT shit. We love to see it. Also, the UFC has just announced their first ever fight card in Azerbaijan with UFC Baku. The country of Azerbaijan is nestled between Georgia and Iran, and in the city of Baku, the main event will be an incredible battle at light heavyweight with Roundtree Jr. taking on Jamal Hill. Crazy how the UFC is going to a war-torn region but can't get to Madrid or Cape Town. Dana, you're a madman, you. In wrestling news, the WWE has announced the full card for Night 1 and Night 2 for the greatest night in sports and entertainment, WrestleMania. Night 1 starts with Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Shout out to my grandmother. And has 4 title matches in the World Tag Team titles, the United States Championship, the WWE's Women's title, and the World Heavyweight Championship. Night 2 begins with the Women's Tag Team title match, but I mean, it's alright. And this card also has a total of 4 championship matches, with the other titles being the Intercontinental Championship, the Women's World title, and the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, before we finish with this segment, we need to dive a little bit deeper into these 2 main events. And this is going to be a hard time for me. Pause. In the triple threat main event for Night 1, it's looking more than likely that Paulie is less the belle of the ball and more like a lady of the night. Because at the start of this build-up, he was with the OTC. Going into this match, he'll be cornering CM Punk. And after last week's Raw, he could very well be leaving the ring with Seth frickin' Rollins. It seems clear that Roman is shifting, and it looks as though we won't likely see him again before WrestleMania, as his last scheduled appearance was April 7th. I'm expecting another wild change for Joe, much like what happened back in his 2020 return. CM Punk has always wanted to main event WrestleMania, but he hasn't said as much about winning, and Seth has always been playing the fixer-upper and supporting character for more than a year now, and this turn he's teased last week might be super necessary. As it currently stands, I'm picking either Punk or Seth to win this one. Punk may want it more, but after the night, then what? He could easily have some insane rivalries to build up younger talent, but Seth screwing over CM Punk and Roman with a drastic change has a far more compelling point to build forward on. As for Roman, no more tribal chief. It's time for the final chief, and I think now more than ever we may see him join The Rock and Cena in the wake of this loss. Finally, we have the undisputed WWE title match. I don't think people are fully understanding what's been happening in this build, and genuinely, Cody, well done. Well done. You're the best number 2. But I just don't see a way that Cena has turned heel just to lose. Now, if he hadn't yet, and then he lost this match and turned in the aftermath and went on to win the rematch at Backlash, then I understand. But for this heel turn to mean anything, he has to win. I just don't think it's going to be super clean. Cody has been super pandering to the crowd, and if he had enough time, I'm sure he'd patiently kiss every single ass in attendance. But a great movie has the line, the one thing they love more than a hero is to see him fail. And I think that this match will be incredible, but that Cena, with some unfair assistance, beats the dashing one and terrorizes the WWE for at least a few months. And in wake of this, Cody keeps fighting for the people, and eventually towards the end of the year realizes that it's the end of the story and they don't care, and will finally get Homelander Cody. Big match, John. Your time is now. Next week, we'll check up on all our previous predictions for sports and show just why we call them GOAT picks. Remember, Goat Island brings you sports weekly every Monday. Like and subscribe for more. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or issues with the episode, drop a comment below. This is the Big Kahuzzi, and from Goat Island, we'll check you again.